Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Masters of the Universe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia Fisto. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here we have Mattel, 6 and up, 30 points of articulation. And then the top flap, we've got Masterverse and blah, 1980s rocks exploding everywhere. Then on the front, we've got a nice window here showcasing some of the figure and some of the accessory. And then we've got some nice artwork of New Eternia Fisto fighting some kind of dragon dudes. Masters of the Universe, New Eternia Fisto. And then the artwork goes around to the sun. You can see He-Man here fighting what appears to be werewolf dudes. Then on this side, just some nice artwork of Fisto getting ready to go to work. On the back, we've got a nice practical photography shot of the figure. And then here's some close-ups of some things that he can do. You know, he's got this head. He's got a sword, and you can replace his fist with the battering ram, I guess. That's what that is. Fisto, heroic master of hand-to-hand combat. After his hand was severed by Skeletor, Malcolm bonded with the mystic Iron Fist. What? Now Fisto tracks the nefarious sorcerer across New Eternia in search of revenge. No, no, no. He's not Iron Fist. Danny Rand is Iron Fist. Anyway, also available each separately, subject to availability. Colors and decorations may vary. The cross-sale Flying Fist He-Man, Fisto, this figure, and Evil Lyn. Mattel, empowering generations through play. And that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers for some of the smaller bits. So first of all, he comes with only one extra hand. And it's a grip hand. And it's not for his power fist or whatever, his metal fist. It's a regular one. Normal sized. And it's for gripping the hammer or the sword, which we'll take a look at next. So here we have his sword, and while the colors might be appropriate, this just doesn't feel very Fisto to me. But it does have nice silver paint up there, and I do believe it's molded in this color. So I could be wrong about that, but this is definitely a paint app for the blade. So, you know, just a curved blade for Fisto just doesn't strike me as the correct weapon, but that's the direction the designers decided to go. Now, next up, this does feel very Fisto. It's, you know, a war hammer, and it is molded in this silver plastic, at least this part, and probably the post is as well. This looks to be like a paint app, and it might even have a little bit of wash in there. No, that's just shadows from the lights. So all of this is molded in this swirly twirly silver plastic, and the swirly twirlies are very apparent on this part, and it looks like this part is separate and it's glued in there or posted in there really good. So we got a point here, then we got a point here, and then we have a bludgeon here, I suppose. And these pieces do pop off. And then, so I guess you can use that as a hammer as well without these pieces on it. And these, like I said, these come off, and we'll get to where they go in a moment. Now here is the extra head for Fisto, and to me this is a very classic looking Fisto portrait. Lots of hair, lots of beard, and then they did a really good job on the face, the eyes and the eyebrows at least. So pretty good looking, rugged fellow. Now let's take a look at Fisto. And we'll start with this portrait. And there's nothing wrong with this. I just would have liked this without this. Or at least where this was removable. But unfortunately, it appears to be glued on, and I think the way that it is, I think the hair and this piece is one piece and then it's glued on. I could be wrong, but this part of the hair looks a little thicker than down below, so I think that's the way they did it. I do like this nice white patch there in the beard, and again the eyes and the eyebrows, good job on that. In the beard you can see some braids going on as well, and then he's got this big kind of top knot ponytail going on. Some nice silver. I actually think maybe this is molded in the silver, and then these, and then this, and this are the paint apps. That's the way it looks to me. I could be mistaken, but that's the way it looks. Oh, this also. So very, you know, classically inspired armor for Fisto there, and he's got some like circuitry going on in here, it looks like, and on the back side as well. Little loop right there for the sword, and we'll get to that in a minute. So then pretty standard arm on this side. On this side, a fully robotic arm, not just an arm with a big fist at the end, a big metal fist at the end. No, this arm is fully robotic looking. And then we've got, you know, your standard belt, and I say standard, but this looks a little circuitry inspired too, at least on the front, and then your basic fuzzy loincloth going on, and then all the way down, basic Masters of the Universe, Masterverse legs. Let's talk about his articulation for a minute. And the head's on a ball joint. He can look up that high. He can look down that far. He's got some chicken neck. He's got some waggle. Waggle, waggle, waggle. A little bit of waggle. Not a lot. He might be able to do the... Nope. He can't do the full exorcist without popping his head off. So we don't want to do that. Let me get this fixed. Alright, that's all fixed back. Now let's take a look at his arm. Rotates 360 degrees and comes out to about 90 degrees. 360 degree rotation there at the upper bicep, and a double hinged pinless elbow, and it gives you about that much bend, and then 360 degree rotation at the wrist on, and in and out hinge. Since this arm is different, we'll take a look at it as well, and it doesn't want to move at all, so might have to take a minute and free that up. Alright, so the heat gun did not free this joint up, so it is stuck. It doesn't want to move forward and backwards, or at least it does, but the pin is not moving. It's stressing, so I'm going to stop with it. Be aware of that, my friends. And, you know, it runs right straight into the body. I don't think it's something you can just pop out without disassembling the figure. So I'm assuming if this arm rotation was free, it would give you a full 360 degrees of rotation. So At the upper bicep, it does single hinge and no swivel at the elbow for this arm, and it gives you that much bend, so not even close to 90. But, you know, nice. I forgot to mention this earlier. Nice molded details all throughout that appendage. And then pull down hinge at the hip, pulls down. And let's see, pull it down. Then he will give you almost the full splits. Kick forward that far. And back that far. A full step plus, well, a full step. We'll call it a full step. 360 degree cut at the upper thigh. Double hinged, pinless knee gives you that much bend. Then boot cut, another 360 degree rotation. And at the ankle, I don't know what I got lost there for a minute. So at the ankle, goes down that far, goes up that far, and forward facing pin for rocker. Now, as far as what I was talking about earlier with the hammer, so the fist is removable, and then these pieces of the hammer are, ouch, attachable there, so now he can punch you with a point. Let me see if I can get this off back here. Or he can bludgeon you with something a little more round than a fist. But I'm sure this isn't really for punching people, those two attachments, you know, like maybe doors or something. So there is that. So we'll put his fist back in there. And we'll remove his other fist so that he can utilize his grip hand, and we'll just pop that in there. And it's on an in and out hinge as well. Get those hip hinges back in place. So there's that. Now, as far as storage, of course, his sword goes in this little loop right there. And then, of course, the hammer just pops back together. And I guess you could probably put the fist on the hammer for storage when he's just in one of these other pieces. That might look pretty cool. And then, of course, he has to hold this one in his hand. And no storage for the extra head. Beep. There you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, New Eternia, Fisto, with the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, Revelation, Fisto, and the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, New Eternia, Flying Fists, He-Man. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, New Eternia, Fisto, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified Series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe New Eternia Fisto, I have to say this is definitely kind of a new take on Fisto. He has a whole robotic arm rather than, you know, just the big metal fist. I'm not a big fan of that little skinny sword he has. I do like this hammer that he has, and I like the fact that you can swap it out with the fist and those hammer pieces. I do like that. I like this new Eternia head. I just wish that you could, like the armor piece of it, I do wish could be removed, but the way that's made, I don't think that's possible. And, you know, the alternate head is really classic Fisto looking, at least to me. Your mileage, of course, may vary as always. And, you know, his arm, his metal arm was frozen up. And I kind of had to go in and split the side of the chest piece a little bit to loosen it up. Heat wasn't doing it, water wasn't doing it. So there it is. I had to pry it apart a little bit, and that seemed to help. It's not completely loose, but it will do a rotation now without putting too much stress on that arm pin. So there is that. The paints on this guy, you know, there's not a lot going on paint-wise, but, you know, it looks good. And it has a little bit of that classic feel. Not totally classic, but, you know, it's pretty much. And during the review, I think I missed, there's a point of articulation that I missed. It's right here where the elbow and the fist start. It will rotate 360 degrees there as well. But overall, I like this guy, even though it does have a few flaws, at least in my opinion. But that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.